started streaming. Let's look at. You want to just give it a peek?
Yeah, sure. I listed Tim Crawford. It's like that. I don't even know someone named Crawford.
That sounds familiar for some reason.
Tim Crawford? Like
Yeah.
there's a guy named that? You're not wrong.
4 or 5 wits says hello. That's a good sign. Usually you see a 4 or 5 wits, you're in the right place.
It's like seeing a worn path in the.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look.
When I looked back and saw only one set of footprints, that was when 4 or 5 wits was in the chat.
Dog, I love going to the beach with all my friends. That's what that allegory is about, right?
K Weirick, I'm seeing all the familiar faces and names that I know.
The stars?
Yeah.
The stars of the game. Oh, honestly, my lord.
Speaking of stars, Starman 1987.
How could we forget? A classic, even.
Oh, I didn't know it was live. I just clicked over to check. You have not missed much. You have not missed anything, honestly.
Literally nothing. Oh, did I tell you that the GUI looks good? Like your frames set and everything?
The what now?
Your layout on your Twitch thing. I called it a GUI for some reason. I blame the weed.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it.
Okay. Thank you. What are we playing tonight, Mike?
We're playing F-Zero, which at first glance this is just gonna look like we're just playing F-Zero for Super Nintendo. Which is kind of true. But this is one of the BS Satellaview broadcasted F-Zero games. So if you're not familiar with the BS Satellaview, and June, you could probably fill in gaps as I explain incorrectly.
Sure.
It was basically a Japanese-only service where games were broadcast via satellite to users at home to play on their Super Nintendo. So imagine a situation where you wanted to play the new game that week. You had to be online and ready to receive at a specific time. And
like a radio broadcast or something. By the way, we just got fucking raided, Mike.
Oh my god, Galen raiding with a party of 11. Thank you so much.
Thank you for raiding. Thank you for pillaging. Thank you for ruining Mike and I's life. We really appreciate it. We're glad to see you swing by.
Yeah, my depression just ratcheted up 2 notches. Let's go. You know how they do the hype train on Twitter? It's that, but for depression.
The DSM number just keeps going up?
Yeah. So they did a few games. They're like the ones that are probably most famous. There was a Zelda game that was broadcast that was like not quite like Link to the Past. Picture more like the original Legend of Zelda for NES, but with kind of like fancier graphics.
It's a straight up remake, actually, which is really cool.
Oh, it was a remake. Okay.
Yeah, it's a straight up remake of Zelda 1, and then there's also 2 other Zelda series that were broadcast, and they all had time elements to them. So like the idea was you would go and turn on and play Zelda at 4 o'clock, and then you would turn on your radio and there would be a symphonic soundtrack and a voiceover artist and a narrator telling you how to do things. Killer Monkey, you don't know how to raid, but you just raided us, my friend, so you are successful.
Yeah, that was perfect. I couldn't have done it better myself. I wouldn't have done it better myself if I knew how. I'd refuse.
We should learn how to raid.
We just go to bed,
like show up,
which I think is all right.
When you're over 35, that's your version of raiding.
I raid the room where my wife's trying to sleep, and I roll over 6 times, adjusting my pillows. I make sure that by the time I'm comfy, she is not.
Dude, there is such a secret to having an elegant pillow configuration in bed, and I respect you for being real and human about that.
So I have 2 of the they're like king size pillows, just so you know they're the longer ones, and I have 2 of them. I have one at the head of the bed, right, perpendicular to the way I sleep. The other one is parallel, and I sleep in a Sagat pose,
Yo!
Like Street Fighter, you get that knee up, you get and my arms, you get like one underneath the pillow that's under my head, and the other one is snuggling that parallel pillow.
I feel that. I feel that, dude.
It's great. I will like get in that position, and I'll wake up in that position.
That seems like a miracle to me. Like every pillow in my bed is on the ground in the morning.
I feel like it's not healthy. Like I feel like I'm gonna die from that, but I can't explain what I mean by that.
Like you fear the pillow?
Yeah, I'm a little afraid of the pillow.
You're afraid of what it can mean?
Yeah, you know what? That's
fucked,
fair.
Dude. That's. I have a body pillow that I fold in half and put between my legs, and then basically I just make a fortress and lean into it, which seems to work okay. The cats don't like it, 'cause, you know, pillow hazard, but that's how it is. This is a great chat. I'll fall asleep in that position and wake up in a completely different position. Yeah, that's pretty normal. I wish I had the situation like Mike where I didn't move. I feel like all of my problems would be fixed. No more woes.
Yeah.
In real life.
I used to flop everywhere. I don't know what happened. I had kids, probably.
You followed the ways of Sagat?
Yeah. So
that dude has to sleep well.
I have to what?
I said that dude has to sleep well.
Yeah.
Sagat, to be in that shape?
Yeah.
That's a Street Fighter Sagat, right?
It's gotta be.
Right.
So
did we discuss Alpha 3 at EVO yet? No, they're third strike at EVO, right? They're not doing Alpha 3.
Yeah, that'd be wild if they were doing Alpha 3. You know what? You know what I would want to see? If I could have any like fucked up, if I could just like be a fucked up little freak for a second. If I just want like,
oh please,
I want something at EVO. I'm gonna tell you what I want. I want the GBA version of Alpha 3.
That's disgusting, dude.
Yeah,
that's a gross thing to be doing. Not
even
that's
what
PSP
I learned
version?
to do a Dragon Punch on. On an emulator, on the GBA emulator, I played Alpha 3 in my computer lab at school. I learned to do it on a keyboard.
Did you do numpad, or did you do the arrows?
No, I didn't do either. Arrows? I didn't do either. I did fucked up, like, I just picked random ass, like, the letters that seemed to make sense to my brain at the time.
Respect. That is like PC gamer brain. I mean, respect that.
What was your keyboard emulator layout?
My default?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a big like arrows ZX. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Just low bottom of the board. I like it when my hands are relatively even. Mm-hmm. So it's a good setup. I don't like WADs too much because I feel like it's easy to get lost when you're doing num switching.
I do WASD for movement, and then I do IJKL for face buttons, and then shoulder buttons I'll do like Q and E and U and O.
That makes sense.
Yeah, B and N are always start and select.
That makes sense. I usually change up my keyboard layout per game, just to have certain things really close together when I'm feathering.
Yeah.
Like if I'm playing Mega Man or something, only 2 buttons really matter, so everything else just kind of gets thrown wherever. Oh my gosh, we got another subscription by Death by Kitten. That is very cool. Thank you very much. Oh, Jaime says, arrows and Mega Man ZX is how I learned Street Fighter 2. Or no, ZX, just ZX? And Mugens. Mugens.
Yes.
I love it, folks. I learned how to do Street Fighter on a SNES controller. Well, no, actually in the arcade first. That's a lie. We had an arcade machine at the Pizza Hut. We hit that shit up all the time. And then they took it out and replaced it with Samurai Showdown, and we had a great time. It was nuts as a kid to go into Pizza Hut and see dudes straight up get cut in half with like fountains of blood everywhere. It was sick. Like, and it wasn't even like Mortal Kombat where like it's so goofy that it's funny. It's just like, no, this beautiful warrior of legend just got cut up like a ham. So while Mike's getting set up, one interesting thing about the BS Satellaview games that are going through this satellite system to the SNES is there are a number of those games that are just permanently lost. when we talk
Yes.
about game preservation, that's something where there's a lot of known existing games where there is no known copy of them, and our only chance is that someone bought a flash cartridge and it's sitting in like a used game store or a collector section somewhere.
Well, because like the situation would be, you would have to have somebody who both had this Teleview service when it was broadcast, and then B, didn't overwrite that information with a subsequent broadcast later.
Yes. And on top of that, if there was supplemental information, such as, like I described, a radio broadcast, some of that is also lost as well. So when people are making ROMs of this stuff, they're often reproducing it. Okay, we got someone in the chat. It's Cubbuses. I don't Cubbuses. I really don't want to disrespect this. They just got wrapping up on their own BS F-Zero Deluxe stream, which is what we're going to be streaming here tonight. So thank you for stopping by. That's very cool. If Mike's anything like me, I will need a lot of tutoring to be decent at F-Zero.
Yeah, I'm not going to be good at this. That's for sure.
Fair enough.
I think I've gotten like 32nd place in F-Zero 99. Like, we'll see.
Is that good? Should I check that out?
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's chaotic. I mean, like, imagine a game where you have to be as precise as you are in like F-Zero, but there's like literally 100 other people just running into you and getting in your way.
It sounds like bumper cars.
It is very much a bit like bumper cars. It relies on like getting out ahead, and there's ways to like pass a bunch of people, like you're like collecting orbs and using like an ability to pass people and things. It's worth a try. See if you like it.
Sense. Okay, all right, I can fuck with that. I mean, it's free, right? So
yeah. Let's play a damn video game.
Oh boy. So the interesting thing about this version of F-Zero that we're playing is it's actually a reproduction. It's not directly ripped from the original version of F-Zero DS. It is a reproduction by fans of these levels, some of which were scraped from like video and recreated within their engine. And it's a fascinating project because I can't think of another ROM hack that's like based on an existing work but must be adapted due to the nature of how available the thing is. Does that make sense?
Do I have to do those BS leagues? Because this is just basic ass like Mute City, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, I think I. Yeah, I could give up. Absolutely.
You know, let me check in on the chat. We'll see.
I need to clean this controller. The start button is temperamental.
What is it?
What?
What are you rocking with?
It's original Super Nintendo controller with snacks.
Ooh, just like straight OEM parts too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this was actually my childhood controller.
Oh, baby. Nothing like that.
Yeah, we'll do a BS2 League. So the cool thing about... I should say the reason we're playing this is due to a Did You Know Gaming video about this subject. And they go into detail how this was created, because I had assumed, well, you just have somebody sitting there analyzing the video over a couple of years, and you know, just trying to like painstakingly recreate it in a level editor. And the way that they did it is like far more ingenious. I'll probably just play the clip of that video here in a little bit, because it'll explain it way better than I ever could, along with some visuals. But yeah, it's wild.
And that video is like 30 minutes long if you're curious.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
It's cool. It's like a making of, and if you're interested in how these things get constructed, you know, I didn't get to watch the whole thing yet, but I usually appreciate the Did You Know Gaming stuff. There's always something unique going on that channel. So one thing about F-Zero, Mike, especially the SNES version, is it's relatively ruthless when it comes to, you can just straight up die, lose a race pretty easy. You're going extremely fast for this kind of game.
Yep, just like that.
It's demonstrated. Um, I don't know. I've never had like super warm feelings towards F-Zero, but it's more just incompetence. Do you know what I mean? It's always been cool.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
It
it's you
it
have to
feels
kind of
very
memorize those scraps.
un-Nintendo. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. It feels un-Nintendo. Like this is like the least Nintendo game. It's mean, fast, super mechanically tight.
This is also kind of like this whole like Satellaview stuff is the Wild West of like people figuring out like the internet and like how like games were going to interact with it, because this is like, you know, you've got this, you've got X-Band around the same time, you've got the Sega Channel doing a similar thing to Satellaview but over cable,
True.
and also in the US.
Which is kind of wild because like we never got Satellaview stuff over here in the U.S. and really anyway. Um, but I actually had a neighbor with the Sega Channel, so I used that shit as a kid. And it was really, really neat and really janky. Like, it was still on a dial-up modem, and you couldn't consistently always get a connection. Which means even if you really wanted to download Garfield, you might not be able to.
Oh, we played that
And
Garfield game, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did. I think we did. I believe the Garfield game that was on exclusive to Sega Channel was like an expansion pack or like DLC for an existing Garfield game, which is an incredible sentence.
What's the boost button?
What do you mean?
Like there's
a turbo.
There's a boost in the Super Nintendo F-Zero, right?
Is there? I don't know if there is.
I don't know.
There might be. I honestly don't remember. I've only played the GameCube one to any sort of like length. Jaime says, I've always loved the look of this game, but it's always hard as hell.
Yeah, it's definitely that. You really got to get a feel for the physics of the car. It's kind of floaty. You've also got L and R, which you can use to kind of sidestep. But
the game it most reminds me of is...
Ooh. There we go. Go ahead.
Ooh, that is clean, dude. Clean. A lot of what this game reminds me of is Wipeout. Like, Wipeout is very much based on this, formed on this. And, you know, I think that's a game series that I think a lot of, like, normal-ass video game owning people have had experience with. I love Wipeout. F-Zero is like a, I don't know, like a kind of a faster, meaner version of that.
Yeah. I don't know what the timing is either for the boost at the beginning.
I don't either. Death by Kitten said this is their favorite racing series. We've got some appreciation in the chat for the GameCube version, which I gotta say is like, that game is stellar.
It's fantastic.
If you have not played that, it's so fucking good, and it's stylish. The music is incredible. The arcade version is cool as shit. The boost button is A, but boosts are limited. You get one after a lap clear, and the max you can hold is 3. Thank you, Kabasa. We appreciate that.
There we go.
I know the bar is basically a life meter, too, because if you hit the walls too often, you can get in trouble.
Also, the GameCube version was compatible with an arcade version of the game. You could bring your car configurations in on a memory card, which was sick.
I think you can emulate those Triforce games on Wii now as well.
You absolutely can. Well, and I think also there's just a patched version of F-Zero GX, because all of the AX data is included on the disc. So there's like a patched version that just unlocks all that.
Awesome. That's such a funny system. They basically made like a Neo Geo, but for Nintendo, and made like 5 games for it. And 2 of them are like awful Mario Kart games.
I love how there's these other cars on the track that aren't really part of the race. They're just there to get in your way. It's kind of like doing a track day at the Nürburgring. And there's just people in like Plymouth Voyagers just hanging out.
Can you imagine doing a death race just in like rural Illinois? Like, it's the futuristic version of like, look at those plains. There's nothing out there. This is farmland. Kabustus also says, also on a ramp that sends you flying, you will want to practice holding down to go higher and get a softer landing.
Oh, sick. Okay,
Damn.
we'll try that next
That's
step.
the tech. That is the tech, homie. So while you're locking in and racing with all your speed, do you have an opinion on Third Strike at Evo, since folks are asking?
I think that's great. Like, I mean, more Third Strike is always better. You could tell me it was the only game at Evo, and I'd be like, sign me up. I mean, don't sign me up, because I'd lose, but, like, I'd watch it.
I think there are people pissed off about it because it's an older game, so people would like to see maybe, like, a newer niche pick for it.
Sure, but, like, what's it really taking the place of? How many games are at Evo? And it's not like a main stage thing, right?
It's a main stage thing now.
Yeah.
But what about that Nickelodeon Smash Brothers clone? There's no room for that.
Yeah, what
It's
about
shit like
it?
that. Oh, wait, no. 4 and 5 Woods says Third Strike is main stage.
Oh,
to
shit.
which I say,
okay, that rules.
yes, to the organizers of EVO, tip your fucking cups and spill on these clowns. It is A+ sweet that you are just like putting retro games on main stage. And Third Strike's the best one. I don't care that it's unbalanced. I don't care that there are only 6 viable characters. That's not the point. What version are they going to use? It has to be the arcade Supergun version. All the other home ports are not 1-to-1. I don't think you get a 1-to-1 home port of Third Strike until like PS3.
Oh god, this track sucks. I hate this. I hate everything about this track.
Yeah, these stages seem pretty brutal. Like, that's a narrow alleyway.
Oh god. And you bounce off a wall in this game, you're just fucked. Like, it's real hard to recover.
You know, if we're doing Third Strike on the main stage at EVO, fuck it. The format should be Fightcade. It's the only thing that's fair.
Sure.
We are about to have another EVO moment. Does that mean, like, when he parries all the kicks, or when people go, like, nutso? It's about to be crazy. I think it will be crazy, because Third Strike competitively is, like, a fascinating game to watch. Watching a Makoto main go to town is, like, special.
When is Evo?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh my god. Dude, if I get first on this, it's gonna be a fucking miracle.
July 19th is EVO.
Yes!
EVO should have a main stage slot dedicated to, like, dog shit fighting games
fuck
anyway.
you! Come on!
Like, there should always be one. They're trying to use cabinets, but with hundreds registered to compete, they're worried. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, shit, yeah, okay.
Well, I found a quicker fix for it. It's definitely something with how it plays with OBS that I'm going to have to figure out.
Main stage Clay Fighter 63 and a third. Oh, I like that. That is deranged thinking. If I could pick any dogshit fighting game to be on main stage, it would be like one of those incredibly broken Mortal Kombat Mugans.
What do we got to do to get like TMNT X Justice League?
Oh fuck, that would be so sick, dude.
Oh, I would.
That'd be so sick.
I would watch every single stream.
I'd compete. You and I should would be a tag team. We were rocking that stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I forgot how fun that mode is, but that was so sick.
There needs to be more games that do like, the whole like tag team 2 separate players thing.
Yes. The PlayStation 1 port of Marvel Capcom has that as an exclusive mode, and it kicks ass.
That's great.
No, the Dreamcast port. Never mind, the Dreamcast port, but it's super fun. We got suggestions for other Kusoge fighters at Evo. Shaq Fu is at the SNES version and the Genesis version, my friend. There's differences. That Korean schoolgirl fighting game, good choice. Respect. I haven't seen it in the chat, but I'm going to throw it out there. We need competitive Dong Dong Never Die at some point in time.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Stop turning me backwards. Are you kidding me?
Dude, you're getting your butt kicked by these courses.
Dude, I was doing great.
That's brutal.
And then that, like, I just hit that one the wrong way and it spun me around backwards. I didn't deserve what happened to me. I'm being treated very unfairly by the liberal media.
By F-Zero,
yeah.
In general, the F-Zero liberal media. DK Chance just subscribed. Thank you very much. Met you all 3 months ago. Wow, 3 months? It doesn't seem that long. You've been subjected to so many horrors since then. Thank you for sticking around.
There we go. We're hauling ass now.
You know, I have an idea here. Let's go through the BS Satellaview games and see what we got.
Sure.
So I think there's probably some unique stuff on there.
Dude, that's so brutal. You hit something right before that jump, then you lose all your speed, and you got nothing left.
Jesus. Is this the car?
It's a what now?
What is the car? Someone in chat asked, "Is this the car?" I'm not sure what that means. There's like multiple cars, right? Am I down?
I mean, name 10.
Name 10 cars.
Yeah.
It says OBS froze again.
This is great. I love this. I hope it never stops doing this.
He's thriving, folks. He's also dying inside, but he's thriving. Okay, so let's see what we got in that BS broadcast. There is an exclusive Dragon Quest. There is an exclusive Fire Emblem, Akane Senki.
Super Mario Brothers 2 with like a storyline, like
which is crazy.
It's like voice actors from like Kamen Rider. Yeah, it's
We've got a Harvest Moon, which is interesting. Ooh, this is an interesting one. A Satellaview version of Ihitovo Monogatari, which is a really fascinating Japanese RPG for the SNES, which is kind of like quiet and quaint and almost like, I don't know, almost novel-like. It's really nice.
That's cool.
We've got a Shiren the Wanderer. Oh, Mike, I think you like this one. When you said they were remaking Mario 2 with all those exclusive features, do you want to know the name of it?
Uh-huh.
It is the Super Mario USA Power Challenge.
That's great. That seems like it's a Nickelodeon special.
It does. Okay, there's a Chrono Trigger exclusive game that is just the jet bike race.
Okay. I don't think I'd want to play that, but I respect it.
To each his own. There's an exclusive Dokapon game. That's interesting. There's an Excite Bike remake, Excite Bike Buzz Mario Battle Stadium, that has Mario and Mario characters riding the bikes.
Okay.
Haizu Shojin Shibinmin Man, which I know, like, your eyes are rolling over. It's a series of Mega Man clones made by Hudson. The first 2 are on the TurboGrafx, and the 3rd one is here. They're all kind of good.
Oh, that's cool.
Kirby's Toy Box? Bola Dress in the chat says, I saw the video Cabus's uploaded of the Satellaview Mario USA Power Challenge, and before you enter the game, Birdo says some weird things. Good. Cabus's also says that the Fire Scorpion, Lunar Bomber, and Blue Thunder are your best options for cars.
Oh, shit.
What else do we got? There's a version of Lemmings that came out on the BS. A new Mario paint.
Dude, Lemmings on Super Nintendo slaps. I love Lemmings.
It does! Lemmings is awesome! Haters.
Do people not
There
like
are haters
it?
everywhere. People don't like Lemmings in general. I don't think it's, I don't think people believed it, quote-unquote, aged well.
No, I think it's good.
I think that's bullshit, though. Lemmings slaps. All the Lemmings clones are dog shit. Lemmings 3D is super bad, but the original Lemmings is hard to the core. Radical Dreamers, which is a spin-off of Chrono Trigger and like a pseudo-sequel, which is really cool.
Okay.
I think it's like
is that preserved?
It is preserved, and I think it's like a text adventure.
Oh, well, alright.
Oh, all the air went out of that balloon.
Like, you said all the magic words, and then you, like, completely ruined them for me.
Sorry about your heart, bro.
That's alright.
But I was toying with it. Let's see.
Save it for my
Kabusta says, I goof off. Can I come with you to your cardiology? Don't worry, Doc. I know Mike's blood pressure is high. That's just because he's free in third strike.
Come on. Get out of my way.
Kabusta says, I goof off with the Satella Wave a lot. It would be difficult to explain that, though. Feel free to explain all you'd like about the Satellaview, because it's not like there are a lot of people who are well-versed in the topic. And
Yeah, for sure.
like Mike and I are included. The Dead Chicken says, should we tell them? I don't know what we're telling him, but we can tell him. OBS froze again!
Oh, God. All right. Well, you know what? I got first, which is what I would say, even if I didn't. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and pull up. Let's pull up that just this section of the Did You Know Gaming video. You should absolutely go and watch this entire thing. It's 12 minutes long. It's not going to take your entire life. But the way that they reconstructed this is fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and...
it is really...
I'm going to play it now.
Do it now, dude. Do it. Do it.
Members of the F-Zero community are hard at work searching for copies of Grand Prix 2. In 2018, when videos of GP2 spread around the internet, a veteran ROM hacker called Guy Perfect quickly took notice. Guy is, to put it lightly, an F-Zero superfan with years of experience dissecting the games. The franchise's lost content always haunted him, and he felt compelled to help preserve the series' defunct content by any means necessary. In 2006, he released a level editor for F-Zero X. In 2020, he finished a GP Legend mod with all the Japanese e-reader content added in. Rebuilding Grand Prix 2 was the perfect project for him. Guy's process for preserving GP2 came from an unlikely source. In 2021, an engineer named Flibbity Dibbity began work on what he called a living leaderboard. Flibbity was a big fan of the Super Mario Bros. Speedrunning community and wanted to see what happened if all the best speedruns were played simultaneously. Imagine dozens of plumbers on the same stage at the same time. Mario 35 before Mario 35. For a time, Flibbity's project was being made with machine learning. Speedrun.com recordings were used to train an AI model in the hopes that it'd be able to determine where Mario was at any given time. It ultimately didn't pan out, and they started using humans instead. The tool Flibbity made for that, which he called Graphite, was instrumental in getting the project off the ground. Graphite was a tassing tool with an emulator on one side and a video player on the other. which allowed users to seek frames back and forth and pin down the exact button inputs, causing the emulator to produce the same frame sequence as the recording. This would create an identical frame-by-frame recreation of any given run. Runs could be recreated pixel perfect without the original player ever touching the controller. Graphite gave Guy an idea. If something like this could be done with Mario, maybe it could be done with F-Zero. In 2018, a Japanese YouTuber named Cocoon Kun uploaded footage of all 6 GP Soundlink broadcasts, recorded during the original airing nearly 25 years prior. A lot of the footage you've seen in this video comes from these uploads. Since their release, Guy had been brainstorming a way to identify and reintegrate what was in these recordings. According to Guy, Flibity's insights was the key to this whole thing. The machine engine settings for Grand Prix 2 are known because they all appeared in Grand Prix 1, as well as the practice game. If I could reproduce the input sequence the player used, I'd know the player's exact location and viewing angle on every frame. And then, knowing that, I'd be able to determine where in the course each pixel came from. The footage you're watching now is one of Guy's earliest prototypes, created using a similar tool he made called Wax. That's Cocoon Kun's footage on the left, resized to the aspect ratio of an SNES game. On the right is a frame-accurate reproduction of their 25-year-old button inputs. Below that, a live updating course map using colors from Cocoon Kun's video and the position data from Guy's reproduction. After 3 laps, here's the recreated map of Metal Fort 2. Although much of the process was automatic, Guy still had to put in many hours of manual labor to get things pixel perfect. One of the most challenging parts of the process was recreating the original art. As you can see from this rebuilt footage of Forest, the sky graphics in the horizon are unfinished and represented by white splotches. Most of GP2's graphics are lifted from previous games, but these backgrounds are 100% original. Recreating artwork from a grainy VHS tape, especially art that's constantly moving around, is not easy. Guy spent months searching for artists to recreate the tracks, but no one was up to the task. That wasn't until September 2023 when a Discord user named Power Panda sent his team a cold call. Earlier that month, data miners discovered a series of unused tracks within the files
this
of
next part is a little bit in the weeds, but the main part about that was just the having it automatically generate tracks based on gameplay from a video. That's insane to me.
That's a work of art. That's the sort of like game modding project that does not come along very often. We should be very grateful that this stuff exists.
Absolutely. So let me
never take this shit for granted. I'm sure this is what, like hundreds of hours of work.
All right.
Oh. Full address says Awesome Sauce uses it for his Melee videos. Cabasa says Satellavave is a useful tool for playing some of the more difficult to emulate Satellaview games. Interesting.
That's great. Yeah, no, I definitely want to look into more of it. I feel like there was a story not too long ago. The audio was recovered or preserved for BS Zelda, and I think there's an MSU1 patch for it that like adds all that stuff back in. That may be a fever dream.
I know for some of the BS Satellaview games, there have people that have done English voiceovers for those so that they are playable. I don't know how many of them exist or which Zelda games they're for, because there's multiples of them, but I believe they do exist out there somewhere.
Yeah. Do you know much about like how many times these were broadcast?
I think it depends on the game, but let's look at the F-Zero ones on specific, because like that's always a good test case. I don't see anything from just like a brief scan, but
oh, this is a short track.
oh my gosh, dude, This guy Kabus is in the chat, and I'm so sorry if I'm not saying that right. I was involved a bit in BS Zelda MSU1. I can explain a good bit of it, but the audio reconstruction, TLDR, is that enough was done to have something presentable with an English dub, and properly reconstructing the Japanese track is a different matter. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Sure.
If I remember correctly, these things would have been recorded like off the radio, so
Right.
there's no way you're going to get the world's cleanest audio copy.
We have thank you for being here, because we have this like uncanny history of like doing streams like this and just getting like knowledgeable people, and sometimes people that work on the actual project that just show up randomly. Zero advertising on our part, and it's always super helpful. So thanks for all your info. Feel free to info dump as much as you want in the chat.
Off the radio with the SNES sound effects playing over it. Oh great, that sounds like living fucking hell to me. Like trying to decode something like that.
Yeah.
It's all just muffled noises and blips and bloops and So based on what I read, there were 5 tracks. Thank you for stopping by, Bowl Addresses. It's nice to see you. Take care. Sleep tight. But from what I can tell, there were 5 tracks broadcast for 1 week, 5 tracks broadcast for the next week, and then the 3rd week there was a practice mode broadcast. So these were not available for too long.
And could you get all those components like into the same cartridge at the same time, or was it like you had to overwrite the other tracks?
I think they were live events with radios stuff to go along with them.
Sure, but what I'm saying is like the way that this ROM is presented, is this what you would have had on your Satellaview cartridge, or did they just compile it all into a single ROM?
I think they compiled it all into a single ROM because, based on what I'm seeing on the release dates, like these things were relatively spaced out.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, the Satellaview cartridge is something you would have to like flash with a new game,
right,
over and over again. Plus, as again, one of the most significant contributions I did was identifying which tracks have an album source and hunting down lossless FLACs for those. That's fascinating. I didn't really stop to think at exactly where you would source some of that audio from, but it makes sense if Nintendo has compiled them somewhere.
That's crazy.
The Dead Chicken says, "This seems more like magic that you're even playing the game right now, the longer the conversation continues."
Right?
It's a gaming miracle. It's a gaming miracle in terms of things coming together. You know, I say that every week about this stream, but it does feel unique about it this week. I love that this project does get to exist, and that, like, fandom is more than just... It involves the creation of new things, new audiences, new works of art, essentially. And that's beautiful.
Yeah, another thing they mentioned in that Did You Know video is that there's currently a $5,000 bounty out there for anybody who's got the original, who's got the original version of this game.
Oh, that's crazy! Holy shit!
Which, who holds that? Is there just a trust somewhere? Like,
I have to imagine it's like it's put up by like one particular collector or something. I think that's usually how these things go.
Sure. I've been a part of a couple of like crowdfunding things where they're trying to like something rare surfaces and they're trying to buy it to like either like dump it or put it into a like museum collection or something. The way that's worked has been just like, you know, kind of a pledge thing, and then they try and get a hold of it, and then they try and collect from as many people who pledged as they can. So like it's a super janky process, but I imagine for something like this, yeah, you're probably right, where it's not the chances of you like finding it are so low, and even if you do, it's going to be so far in the future that it's hard to do like a pledge situation or crowdfund it rather.
Yeah, I found that like the crowdfunding usually comes up when something unique comes to auction specifically, like a game prototype or you know, like a dev kit or something like that. Whereas the higher ticket items, when they have those larger price tags on them, it's like an open bounty. No, 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 no. But when I've learned that like when it's an open bounty, that's usually one or two target collectors. It's common in some of the more niche communities, like Neo Geo collectors, for instance. There are bounties on like 4 or 5 different games that are up in like I want to say 5 figures at this point in time.
How am I in first after that bullshit?
Because you're the racing stud, bro. Do it up.
Oh my god, get these assholes in their Prius.
That chicken says, I'm kind of confused as to what the original game is. Isn't it a puzzle as it is now? So the original game would be F-Zero, which got a release, I think, in all regions. And then Japan got exclusive sequels, I'm going to put sequels in quotes, to F-Zero. They were only broadcast through the Satellaview service, and were only available for a limited time. So the original game is something we could all play, but this sort of mod that we're checking out compiles a bunch of course data and other material that are otherwise inaccessible. So like we know Nintendo made it, we know Nintendo published it, but because of the publishing medium at the time, these things were assumed lost. Which we haven't talked about lost media a ton on this show or in the podcast, but there's a lot of it in video games, and this is a good example of one. What's crazy here, Cabus's shows up again. You would have to find 2 8 meg packs in the wild, one for each episode of F-Zero GP2. And if a collector had a copy, they probably don't know it. The DRM mechanisms the Satellaview used would render it invisible to the naked eye. So at this point in time, that's real deep diving.
I hadn't thought about the fact that there would be that like there'd be expirations on these things. So like I guess the way I'd always assumed it worked was that there'd be like if you had it on your cartridge, it was there until you overwrote it with something else. But was there like real-time clock, and it's like if you get past a certain date, this game's no longer playable, and it's just Cabus's could probably clarify if that's what they mean by that, but
that's a pretty fascinating thing if that is the case, because that means potentially any Satellaview cartridge could have it, but you would have to have some sort of advanced mechanism to actually inspect it.
Yeah, and also it's weird for those. It's like weird and also like frustrating for things like these to be released with an intentional expiration date. To release something like this, and I'm sure that there was less thought put into preservation at the time, but just to put something out and be like, this is going to be available for this amount of time, and then the data is gone. Any legal copy you have is going to be inactive. That's crazy.
So Cabasa says it does suck. Cabasa says, in the case of a SoundLink presentation, it would immediately play, go through the program, and data stored on the card would be locked. So that's even more terminal, right? That's like intentionally hiding it from anyone that might be interested in preserving it. Which, like, if that seems like absurd, it's not. Flashcards existed way back in the 90s too, and people were definitely ripping these things. I think maybe differently with the Satellaview, just because of the uniqueness of the data format. But it's been out there.
I should try and get my hand. I wonder what. I mean, maybe they're like super expensive now, but I kind of want to get my hands on one of the like floppy disk dumpers.
The floppy disk dumper.
Yeah.
Just go dump crazy. I wonder how many Satellaview games are actually missing. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I feel like you could just literally just like go on an upsetting auction website and buy like 10 blank cards and maybe something would happen? Who knows?
This has got me wanting to play more F-Zero. I feel like I'm getting into the groove.
You're kind of cleaning up, dude.
I mean, I'm on beginner. Like, that's not lost on me, but...
It's F-Zero. Beginner is hard.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh no, Mike. I'm reading a description of this Teleview to see if there's anything in particular we're missing, right? Earthbound creator Shigesato Itoi designed a fishing game called Itoi Shigesato no Mastery #1. Are you ready for an upsetting and mentally and emotionally challenging fishing game?
Absolutely.
That sounds fucking awesome. I'm so ready for that.
The texture from, like, what I assume is supposed to be, like, a slippery surface is, like, they made it so finely detailed, like this, that it just looks awful in Mode 7. I cannot believe they did this. That's giving me a headache.
I don't know if I can find a definitive list of stuff that's missing.
Oh.
Which, I mean, is interesting. People are still, making discoveries. There's this, but there have also been, like, new Kirby games discovered just by cart scraping.
Like, ones that there just wasn't a record of being released? Or, like, what do you mean? What do we mean new ones discovered?
Like, so there was knowledge that there were some Kirby mini games released on the Satellaview service.
Uh-huh.
And I want to say it's 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. A flash cart was found with 4 of the mini games on there.
Oh,
so
wild.
Previously unknown or undetailed, and then they're just there. Oh my god, this is the ultimate rabbit hole, dude. You ready?
Yep.
Kabasa says, let's just say the list overwhelms me, even if many of the listed things are trinkets not as notable as F-Zero or BS Zelda. There is no definitive list because the schedules sourced from Famitsu magazines don't show everything. So we don't even know necessarily what was broadcast in the first place in a lot of
So
cases.
would you just have to, like, would there just be... I'm imagining, like, the, like, what's the name of the, like, emergency broadcast system in the States, where it's, like, randomly there'd be, like, a test and you wouldn't really know it was coming? Is that the situation where it's, like, something's not on the schedule, and if you just happen to be lucky enough to, like, have your radio on or whatever, they're like, hey, we got a new hentai game, don't tell Miyamoto. Like... This is wild.
I hate that. That's awesome.
One of my favorite TikToks took like the start of like the beginning of a serious 3DS video where they're like the 3DS actually contains a hidden sound if you know where to find it, and they play it and it's just like, hey guys, it's Shigeru Miyamoto here. I'm gonna be totally real with you guys because I think that's what you deserve, but Bowser is fully uncircumcised.
So, there could be an infinite number of unreleased games, and your immediate thought is, what if there was a game where they talked about Bowser's circumcision?
Yeah, I mean, what if, though? Like, you can't tell me that there isn't until all that information has been found.
Do we need to know it? Also, wouldn't Bowser have a cloaca?
Listen, It's a fantasy world. Anything is possible. Where's the lie?
I love the idea of getting in an aggressive argument going like, look, bro, it's a fantasy world. Be speculative. Use your imagination, asshole.
Oh my god, I'm backwards. I'm backwards. Oh, Jesus.
Whoa, Kabasa says some of the stuff caught in Kukukun's videos pushes the envelope of what would be acceptable for Nintendo, and that includes the fishing game. Now I'm curious. Because...
And that may be why they, and this is me wildly speculating, I have no idea, but that may be why they were, like, willing to make that kind of content. Be like, listen, it's going to be out there for half a second. And, try it, see what comes of it, but, like, we're going to deny it ever existed. So.
I think the thing I like about that idea is the presumption that, like, at Nintendo, there's a folder that says, like, Mario lore. And then there's, like, an X folder. There's 10 pages of information that is canon and must be distributed to the public. But we should do it in the most careful way possible. It's going to hurt the fewest amount of people. No one wants to know what's going on with Bowser, but we have to get this shit out in the world.
Just going to be real with you guys.
How fucking sweet would it be though? It's like, you got your Satellaview on Christmas Day, and you go on down to the 7-Eleven to go see what's new, and you get ready for the live broadcast, and it's basically like the fucking Nintendo equivalent of the Silmarillion. It's just 4 hours of red text about Mario's father's uncle.
Dude, that would be amazing. I'm on board. Just like how I want to know where Han Solo got the dice from the Millennium Falcon, like, I want to know, like, why is Mario's mustache that long?
Is that what this is now? This has become the Mario Silmarillion Q&A?
Yeah.
Well, if you must know, Mario was rather attached to his grandfather, who had a robust mustache, and even though Mario's doesn't quite take up the same amount of real estate, he keeps that mustache to keep the memory of his grandfather alive. Even though his grandfather is actually alive, but Mario doesn't know that. He just happens to live in Australia.
Damn, is that true?
That's the Mario. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's true. They let people live in Australia now.
Oh god, holy shit. Holy shit. I have a feeling the math for collisions is just all over the place. Because it does unexpected things when you just lightly tap another car.
It seems to have the physics system of marbles being thrown onto glass.
Uh-huh.
405 Wit says, turns out Bowser has 2 cloacas. Damn, that's cool.
Oh my god. Where does he keep all that? How's a fella get caught up in that sort of business?
How do you keep all those cloacas up in them jeans? Also, the Dead Chicken says, how would you feel making this media knowing full well it'll disappear the moment it's made public? I feel like, I'm going to take a guess. That would piss Mike off.
Yeah.
That would be something...
Yeah, I don't know if you know this about me, but I feel like it should be preserved.
I don't... So, I'm gonna preface what I'm gonna say with, I don't disagree. But, if you know that's the job going in, I think it might be fun to find unique things to do with it. But, at the same time, yeah, you would want people to be able to play it, or as many people to be able to play it. I'm not big into the idea of, like, games as an art gallery where they're only up for 2 weeks and then they're fucking gone. Yeah. That sucks. If the preservation has to happen after the fact, sideways, maybe even by community, that's awesome. But, like, I could understand wanting to make art with those kind of restrictions. I just wouldn't understand, like, cutting it off forever.
Sure.
Jaime says, like, let's say they did the broadcast and then a year later they released all of it compiled onto one cart for $30. No voiceovers, but, it's playable and they fill in the rest with dialogue boxes. Do that kind of shit, You still got most of the work done.
Do you think anyone made backups? Probably. But
Definitely.
the people that like, sometimes there's people internally that make unauthorized backups. The people that have that stuff, like, it's a pretty rare situation where they're gonna like, bring that back out, especially after this long. I've heard stories of people making like unauthorized internal backups of stuff, and then they put it in, in a drop ceiling in the office somewhere, which I heard on a podcast referred to as an upper decker one time, and I have never been able to forget it. But
another thing is backups can be found sometimes on dev kits, especially from this era, where you'll like buy a random prototype cartridge or dev kit or something from a company and like, oh boom, Bioforce Ape is there or whatever.
yeah, I've
BX
actually thought
Bioforce Ape.
recently, like, you know, like the age-old question of like, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And people are like, oh, flight or invisibility or whatever. I thought the ability to know the location of any object at any time.
It's a big power.
Yeah. But like to be able to just like, because you think about it, like I've lost things, like on a small scale, I've lost things. It would be cool to be able to find that. But also like to just be like, oh hey, I know where there's a copy of like this Satellaview game.
Not like
whatever.
where's my child right now? Is she safe?
Yeah, they'd be like, listen, we desperately need you to fucking find a lost child or Bin Laden or whatever, and I'm just like, not right now, bro.
It's the middle of the movie The Dark Knight. Batman needs your help to find Harvey Dent and Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
and you're busy trying to figure out where the new Zelda BS game just dropped. You caused the worst thing in the world. Okay. Got some interesting things going on in the chat. Dead Chicken asks, what year was the service live? Kabasa says 95 through 2000. That's a long ass time for like a failed project. I'm gonna put failed in quotes, but failed project. And then also Kabasa says that there are some BS Zelda art assets in the GigaLeak. So if you're unaware of the GigaLeak broadly, it's essentially a giant cache of folders that were leaked out of Nintendo, and they included all sorts of interesting information that I think we still might be pouring through. Yeah.
I mean, I never made it any further than like fucked up Yoshi sprites, but yeah, that's cool too.
Jaime says, has the black market ever been used as a way to recover this stuff? Like someone who lived in the USSR or China in the 90s? So that's an interesting question, because I think BS Satellaview games are unique enough that they might just foster their own community to do that kind of thing. I could be wrong. Thankfully, we've got someone in the chat who can correct us. But what I will say is that the advent of game preservation and black market activity in general, it does go one-to-one. If you're in the 90s and you're backing up these like SNES games or Genesis games or whatever, you are likely using some sort of capture device built for black market purposes, for the reproduction and scaling of cartridges. Those things were not easy to find. They're definitely specialist tools. They were super expensive, and a lot of them were pretty crude too, just in terms of their construction. But it's impossible for you to be able to start backing up and preserving these things in the 90s without using these tools used by bootlegging rings and stuff like that. I don't know if a game has ever surfaced in another region or something like that as an independent release, but any sort of preservation at the time would have been reliant on some material from sketchy places, let's just say. Not necessarily the USSR or China. It's a global economy, And yeah, you're right, totally right. It is 100% that way today. I remember going to a retro store in like 97 and someone showing me their SNES capture cart, and like it's the size like a fucking Domino's pizza box. And it looks like it was assembled like in a cave with no light reaching the board. But it worked. It was functional,
Tony Stark
and like, when you that age, it was cool as shit.
with a bunch of scraps.
Tony Stark preserved this in a cave. He captured the radio signals cleanly with a DAC. Do you think Tony Stark's heart had a DAC in it, bro?
Oh,
Much to consider. It had to. How else would you process things?
Dude, it used that same Yamaha sound chip.
What's the Marvel version is that he was in like a terrorist cave, right? Like
yes,
vague Middle Eastern terrorist. So that means that like he's stuck with like the second sound chip for the Genesis. Or his poor suit is not functioning properly. Kabasa says there are some Satellaview dumps I can confirm were sourced from what would be described as early SNES piracy scenes. The BS Marvelous dumps can be tracked to the scene that released them, for example. That's a great example. Whoa. I'm throwing shit around. I do not mean to be.
That's crazy. I feel like I've seen like what this has to offer at this point, but it like we're so deep in this Satellaview rabbit hole that it feels wrong to switch to Bomberman Hero at this point, but we could keep talking about it.
Maybe you should you want to dig up another Satellaview game?
Sure.
That might be a way to do it.
Yeah.
See if you can find a copy of Shubindan Man.
Come again? I feel like you made that up off the top of your head.
I did not. It's Shubindan Man 3. I know that for a fact. I mean, you could also try the Zelda ones, right? I'm sure people would like to see like the Zelda 1 remake or something.
You're gonna have to tell me how to spell that, because I'm doing a bad job.
Zelda.
fuck you, not Zelda. Shut up. Oh, there it is.
Thank you. It's SCHBIBINMAN.
That's a side-scrolling beat-em-up, eh?
Yeah, it's like a weird like Mega Man beat-em-up combo.
I should check and see, because I've got those like. I should verify that I don't already have this stuff before I go hunting for it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, Kabasa says it's Shubinman Man 0. That's a good point. Starman says, my vote would be for Radical Dreamers. That would be a cool one to check out sometime, but because it's like a more RPG text adventure presentation, it's something we'd probably want to spend a little time with. Fishing, please. I don't know if the fish... We should see if the fishing one's been dumped or not. So since we have Kabusses in the chat, is there a Satellaview game that you find particularly interesting? I mean, you said you've explored this quite a bit, but like, do you feel like you've seen what the format has to offer, or are you still kind of discovering new stuff and new strange little games in the collection? Running my phone. Congrats on the printer, Weary. It's nice to hear. Whoa, the Shigasatsu Toy bass fishing game allows you to play as him, the developer and designer. That's awesome.
You know what? It may be an issue with like my HDMI switch losing sync with this capture card. I bet you if I ran directly from my receiver, I may try that for next week. I bet you if I ran directly from my receiver to the capture card, I might not have these disconnects.
That makes sense. Okay. Do you want to try to do the One Piece Dragon Ball Fighter next week, maybe?
Sure.
2 hours straight, Mike Bachman One Piece Lore dump.
Absolutely.
I think we can do that. It sounds like the fishing game is like pretty straight-laced and kind of casual and chill, and I like that idea.
Okay, here's the Sheeran game. What was the name of that again?
Shubindan Man. SCHUBININMAN. Oh my god, okay. Kabasa says the phishing stuff is complicated. The retail game has an 8 megabyte pack compatibility and can load some data. And then there is a separate Satellaview game, and the Satellaview game is undumped. Interesting.
There is a lot in this Satellaview folder.
There's a lot of games on this thing.
Yeah, but
Like-
I thought I had looked in this folder earlier and it was empty. So I must just.
And now the
be
world.
insane. What was the Satellaview Mario Paint stuff?
I think it's just some like additional like mini games, if I remember correctly, that like have mouse
I
support.
got a mouse, so I'm here for that.
Whoa! Shut down the fucking dance floor. Mike's going crazy over here. SNES mouse, underrated. Nice peripheral. Good for SimCity.
Yeah, I'm not finding it in here. Sorted by broadcast type. Okay, if you haven't tried the Hardware Target Games database stuff, like give it a shot for organizing your ROMs because there's a lot of data duplication, but it's really nice. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Apparently,
There's
need to
one
install some
piece-
BIOS, and I don't have it.
Oh, bummer. That makes sense because this is just a patch of the retail version.
Right. Let me see. What was the name of that file I need? BSX_BIOS.ROM.
Oh, he's going off. We've got One Piece theories in the chat, Mike. What's your take? Buggy will be the king of the pirates by the end of the series.
I mean that'd be disappointing, eh? I don't think
Luffy
I'd
realizes
like
he
that.
doesn't need to live a stream anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares about being the king of the pirates? I'm chillin'.
Can I just
next one
is BSX BIOS to .rom? Let's see. Probably
Maybe.
a lot of these Mr. BIOS you can rename.
There's the theory that Crocodile is Luffy's mother. I don't know what that means.
Okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to take anything I'm hearing seriously, but I feel like I'm not.
Starman is sticking to it.
Okay. Well, keep in mind I'm still pretty early on, so you know, I guess I don't really see I don't really see Crocodile having, you know, maternal qualities. That's fine.
3 weeks from now, I'm just gonna get like a text message that just like, oh, it makes sense. It all makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. It's launching. Let's go. Fix the...
We're doing it.
Oh, this is nice. We get the little, get to see the actual BIOS for it.
Yeah. It's Borf. You know me and 11, folks.
Okay, wait a minute. Oh god. So this is the actual interface for Satellaview. We haven't made it to the game yet.
Like it. No. I wish I could live there. I wish I had the burger store 2 blocks down.
There's game elements in the interface?
Looks like it.
Okay. Oh, let's
game elements, and it's literally the worst game element possible, which is dashing is something you have to unlock.
Yeah. Oh, and we froze it again on the stream. Don't talk to me without a reason. All right, let me fix that.
Tuesta says, the Mister can do this, huh? I wonder if I can inject SAT data in this with the Satellaview. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be wild. Go. Yeah, so I actually don't know where I would have to go to... Everything's closed. Like, I assume the idea is that the game is on here somewhere, but...
I think it has to be.
Sure, I'll enter the beach house. Oh, I know whale bait when I see it. I'm getting out of here.
You're not falling for the old Satellaview scam again.
Yeah, what the hell am I supposed to do here?
I'm looking.
Look again and watch a little closer.
In order to boot the game you wanted to play, enter the red house that you start in front of.
I feel like we already did this, but okay.
You don't remember me, TV man? We were so close for such a brief time.
Okay, I feel like I tried to do that, but that's fine. Alright, load stored data.
Serious these BIOS screens are. It's like very 90s PC.
Yeah. Yeah, this feels like one of the most game crimes things we've done.
Just fucking with the Satellaview in general?
Yeah, this is criminal. We're gonna go to jail for this one.
That's cool. What are you in for? Shockman 3.
I'm gonna have to call the Vatican about this one.
calling up my man the Pope and asking if it's okay if I can play a Zelda remake.
Listen, it's okay. I got special dispensation from my bishop to play this.
Going from parish to parish and asking for forgiveness for playing Third Strike until you find a priest that's like, I play Third Strike too, let's get some games in.
You know what? I would stay in the church. I found a priest that played Third Strike. It'd be fine.
As long as it's like, I'd be in the church as long as we do nothing church related and also play Third Strike. And that's it, nothing else. But imagine how smart you'd be if Sunday school included Third Strike. Your reflexes, your respect for fighting like gentlemen.
How dare you? There we go. Do I have any like special moves here?
I think you do. Look it up. That chicken says Nintendo is watching. It's like that's a scary thought.
Oh, it's command inputs.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yes. Yes. We got DPs. We got fireballs. This game
You feeling
rules.
it now? Oh, there is a move list, yeah, is what Cabusas is saying. That's sick.
What else we got?
I'm looking it up still. Jaime's brain is doing things again. He, he says, so it's like a cuter version of the Sub-Zero side-scroller.
I hate that, but yeah, you're not wrong. How many?
Like all the games that you could have dropped at. Have we ever played the Sub-Zero platform around here, have we?
No, but I play it.
Oh man, that thing is a mess.
Yeah.
It's kind of awesome. Oh, I've got a GameFAQs hit, brother.
Yeah, what do you got?
Let's see. Attacks the Y button is a punch. Hold the Y button for an energy attack like a Kamehameha. You also have charge down and then press up for an attack.
Wait, charge down and press up?
Yeah. Like flash kick. You don't know about all that.
Yeah, it's not doing anything.
Interesting. Doing charge moves in a platformer is kind of wild.
Yeah.
What? That is sick as shit. Alright, Kabasa says, I played a bootleg SNES port of Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, and that was something.
Oh, I played
That's
that.
like...
That sounds great.
That... Yeah, that sounds like the closest you can get to experiencing like a robo trip in real life. That is very Robitussin coded.
That's one of those things I would do just to show my high school counselor that I would amount to something.
I love the idea of you going up to a teacher and being like, "Oh, I've been working on this and I'm really proud of it. I want you to take a look." And it's like he looks at what it is for 5 minutes and just like, "Why did you do this? You should not follow your dreams. You should not be designing games."
Oh, that boss is kind of a piece of shit, actually.
Okay, how do you feel about this? 2024 Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero remake. We need this.
I mean, they gotta really remake it. They need to remake the essence of what it is. Start from scratch.
No, they need to release it as is, but only with HD quality sprites. Nothing else.
I'll tell you where those like Sub-Zero or where those Mortal Kombat spin-off games went right is Shaolin Monks.
I think it's pretty slapping.
Yeah, I like Shaolin Monks a lot.
I like Shaolin Monks a lot too. Love a sequel to that sometime.
Yeah, or
Another
SNES
realm. Oh. Dude, a SNES port of Shaolin Monks that's just basically Final Fight with gore would be the best-selling SNES game of all time.
Dude, it'd be so good.
Kabusta says HD quality sprites with the FMVs are still crunchy low res. Yes. Yes. There are multiple goth women in that game, and you will not be able to distinguish their faces from one another. That's a beautiful thing about Mortal Kombat Mythologies is that like it replaces all the existing Mortal Kombat characters with just 3 goth women. Jaime says, was Shaolin Monks the 3D beat 'em up? Yes, and it is sweet. Excellent co-op experience.
I played through that in the last year, actually. It holds up.
I've heard that. And there's like a versus mode, too. It's actually pretty fun. We need a sequel. We need a 25-hour Reptile solo game. Just for me.
Did I ever tell you that I was part of a, like a underground, like, Mortal Kombat, like, RP group in the 5th grade?
No.
Yeah, we had a whole group. There was this one little spot in the, behind the school where you couldn't really be seen, and we do like the fake fights or whatever, and I was Sub-Zero, another guy was Reptile. We had storylines.
Hell yes, dude.
Dude, it was great.
That rocks. We just had the fighting. Like that's all that happened in my elementary school. People just did Mortal Kombat moves to each other.
Not like as an homage to the game,
just like kind of like okay, I've been knocked out once in my life, and it was when I was like 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it was with a group of people practicing what they called like Liu Kang kicks, the kick where he basically like points his leg forward as if he didn't have a knee.
Uh-huh.
And then shoots. Yeah. So we were trying to replicate this by like swinging off of the metal pole work that made up the swing set. And I remember it very distinctly. A child named DJ, Liu Kang kicked me in the fucking temple, and I blacked out and woke up like 10 minutes later. I was surrounded by the school nurse and everything, and all I remember thinking was like, well, that's cool. He actually kicked. Ooh, Starman says we need a Mortal Kombat dating sim, and Jaime is stamping that. I would play a Mortal Kombat dating sim.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds nice. I don't know who I would date, but that's the question, right? The fun thing about a Mortal Kombat dating sim is it's all just like You have your choice of 12 different murderers. Do you want the murderer in the military? Do you want the murderer who lives in his car? Do you want the murderer that is a pink ninja?
Oh, you want the cop?
You want the cop?
Do you want the cyborg? What about the other cyborg? What about the other cyborg?
Okay, yeah, but I would date Cyrex, that's for real.
That's true.
Dating Smoke, but then getting, like, caught up in the family drama because you don't know which Smoke is Smoke. There's multiple Smokes. All at the same time. Dating Sub-Zero in college and then, like, having to go to the Lin Kuei before you get married and ask for permission.
Oh my god.
From the Grandmaster, who can turn into an owl or some shit. Kabustus says, Shao Kahn says you suck, and then the next scene gets the game rated AO. Yeah, baby! Let's not go full dating game. Let's go full eroge game with Mortal Kombat. That sounds lovely.
Dude, the number of hits on the DP is so satisfying. Like, you lock him into a cutscene.
It's kind of sick. This is a lot like the turbo versions I've played. Which I also like quite a bit. 4 or 5 Wits in the chat is saying that he has given up on Mortal Kombat, MK1 specifically. I have not, but I have not been playing a bunch of online, so that might be why.
Oh, shit.
All I'm saying is Chameleon is sick. Even if no... MK1's such a weird game because every time I watch content on it or read about it, everyone's just like, yeah, I don't mind the game, but there's no main. I have no characters I want to play. Which seems like an issue when you have 20 plus characters in the game.
Yeah.
Although here's some... When I went back to visit my parents in Michigan a couple of weeks ago, I think I spent 3 days straight playing Street Fighter 6. Buddy, that's a good little video game right there.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
I was really digging it. Aki is super cool.
I think I gotta go. There we go. We got another boss. Let's go.
Fuck him up. I want to say there's an English translation patch for this too.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, there's gotta be. As much work as people have gone into these, like... Oh. And we got our first death.
That's a generous continue system.
Yeah, dude, look at all the hits.
So sick. That's like landing Ryu's third essay in Third Strike.
Yep.
The gigantic. All we need is like a zoom in.
Wait, what was that sign? Oh shit.
What?
It's holding up
No!
a sign. Oh, god damn it.
Celesta said an English patch came around about last year or so. The dialogue can be pretty funny. It seems like a very silly game. Like, very aware of how silly it is.
Yeah, for sure.
You fucked that thing up, though.
Yeah, it took 2 lives to do it. That sucked.
It's good that there's a challenge. Shit. I guess the real challenge is like stopping yourself from doing the uppercut over and over again.
Yeah.
Just at all times.
Which why would you? I mean, that's amazing.
It's so chunky.
I respect that they gave the CRT the flicker.
Giving that one a hell yeah.
What time is it? Oh, 11:45. We're getting close. We're getting close.
Yeah, we're getting close.
No, don't put me in the water. Oh, okay, that's not a permanent death when you fall. That's nice.
That is not something I expect in an older game, to be frank.
Yeah,
like
no, that's wild. Oh, this is gonna be a pain in the ass. Yep, that's exactly what I expected to happen. He doesn't fire until I'm close enough, but I'm not close enough until I try to do the jump.
Cool, it's a Teleview game that we didn't get to that recently got an English translation patch that I thought was interesting. Developed by Squaresoft. And it is a airship battle game where the airship fights are done using mode 7.
Oh, sick.
But it's still kind of a strategy management RPG style game because you balance the dogfighting with like excavating treasure from the earth using the like a crane system or something like that, which looks really neat. Very pretty. I mean, I haven't played it, but
I like the homage of the
treasure
the
conflicts.
fish.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a clear reference. Can't tell me it's not.
No, absolutely. Cabustus is giving the thumbs up for the treasure conflicts. Respect. Cabustus, do you have a favorite Teleview game? I mean, it seems like you got the goods, you got the knowledge. Dynamite Tracer and Koiwa Balance also got fan translations. That's cool.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little trickier with the enemy placement.
Okay, I'm looking into these games that Cabustus recommended that got English translations. This one sounds wild to me. Dynamite Tracer by Square. A sci-fi dialogue-heavy adventure game about 8 racers, like space racers.
Okay.
And it's got Uematsu on the music, which is kind of nuts. But it's very, like, the art style is very unique. I like the premise. What's the other one? Koiwa Balance? Okay, alright. We might have to play this one, dude.
Okay.
It's called Koiwa Balance, but the colloquial English version that's used in the Google is the Battle of Lovers. It is a romance-themed board game
Okay.
that like different players can play digitally, and the goal is to find presents to give to women, which is something else. Big fan of that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Oh. I think I found, maybe this is Cabus's, I could be wrong, but I think I found a blog on this game specifically that may be authored by our friend, or at least was quoted in the wiki article I'm reading. So how is this one feeling so far?
No, this feels great. I think
Yeah,
I'll
you're
probably
digging
get
this
through
one?
this boss, and then we'll probably call it.
Yeah, sounds good. Do you feel the itch to either play through this or try the other ones?
Do you mean like try the other Satellaview games?
Yeah, there are 3 more of these Shubinbin games.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, I would.
Nice. We're getting W's then. We're picking up W's by exploring the Satellaview library, which I think is cool.
Oh damn, that was it for me, huh?
No. R.I.P.
I didn't think leopards would eat my face.
R.I.P. Oh, I like the scoreboard. I'm assuming you're being ranked against like everyone that's playing, right?
Right, probably. Yeah, that's sick. It's kind of like I knew about BS Zelda, and like that was kind of it. I don't know. I didn't really think too much about the Satellaview, so I was like, I don't know. Maybe I thought it was just bank software or whatever. Because there was that, wasn't there that banking thing where you had like a keyboard? Yeah.
Yeah.
But now that I'm seeing there's a nice little cache and they're pretty easily accessible, I don't want to play through a lot more of these.
Hell yeah. And before we leave, thank you so much, Cabus's, for spending the evening with us. You are an all-star, and I feel like the background information you're providing here is making this like 10 times cooler than it would be in the first place.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. This would have been a lot of Googling and or I don't know, man. So I appreciate that.
That is our vibe. That is our vibe. Someone here has to be the adult, and thankfully it's the strangers that stopped by to say hello.
Do you want to drop your channel in the chat if people want to come check out other stuff that you're streaming?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. In fact, we should probably follow them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if they're up on this tip, then, my lord, what else are they up on? We got various NES games on there, some 3DO stuff, some 64 disk drive testing. You gotta check out this channel.
Excellent. All right, well, I think that's gonna do it for tonight. I'm gonna go get some sleep. But thanks everybody for coming out. We'll catch you next week.
See you soon.